You have followed the map, the one given to you by a world that values motion over meaning. You have climbed the ladder society built, rung by rung, believing the summit held a prize. The job, the routine, the endless scroll of ghosts living perfect lives on a screen. But in the stillness of night, in the void between one obligation and the next, a question rises from the deep, not as a whisper, but as a silent scream. Is this all there is? This is not a sign of breaking. It is the first tremor of an awakening. It is the soul's rebellion against a life lived in chains, a deep and ancient ache for a purpose that is not given, but forged. You are adrift in a sea of noise, busy but empty, connected to all but severed from the self. The wheel you run on is not just going nowhere, it is getting faster. The noise of the world, the constant demands, the pressure to become more. It is designed to drown the only voice that knows the way. For millennia, the masters of the self, the philosophers, the mystics, the warriors who shaped empires, used a single discipline to cut through this same noise and find their true north. It has nothing to do with adding more to the chaos. It is about uncovering what is already there, buried. It is a habit, older than empires, with the power to reveal the war you were born to fight. Today, we learn to wield it. Chapter 1. The Promise of an Ancient Solution. What if the answer you seek is not a secret to be found, but a power to be reclaimed? A capacity built into the human spirit. A tool so potent it has been the silent engine behind history's greatest moments of insight. But in this modern age, we have not only forgotten this tool, we have been trained to fear it. This ancient habit is the practice of stillness. When you hear this word, your mind may conjure images of gentle peace, of monks on a misty mountain. These are but shadows of the truth. Stillness is not the absence of motion, it is the absence of noise. It is not an act of passivity. It is the deliberate creation of a space between the world's chaos and your will. In that space, the fog of borrowed anxieties begins to clear. The shouting of other people's expectations fades to nothing, and the quiet, unwavering voice of your own spirit, your inner commander, is finally heard. This voice knows your purpose. It has always known. You have simply been too deafened by the world to hear it. This is not a new trend. It is the common thread in the lives of the most formidable figures in history. The Buddha did not find enlightenment in the marketplace. He found it in profound stillness beneath the Bodhi tree. The Stoic philosophers who guided the Roman Empire did not forge their wisdom while distracted. They did it in silent reflection, sharpening their minds like a blade. The great mystics, from Christ in the desert to the yogis of the Himalayas, all sought the crucible of silence to connect with the truth that shatters illusion. They all understood a fundamental law. You cannot hear the orders of your own soul over the shouting of the world. Our world is built on a foundation of noise. It is an engineered assault on your attention. Your devices, your feeds, they are not neutral tools. They are weapons of distraction, forged with precision to hijack the very reward system in your brain. Every notification, every like, is a poison that trains your mind to crave endless input. We have become addicts of distraction, and the price is our clarity, our will, and finally, our purpose. When we are always reacting, we lose the power to act. We surrender our own direction. The practice of stillness is the antidote. It is an act of rebellion against the economy of attention. It is not another thing to add to your life. It is the discipline of subtracting the noise so that the essential may be revealed. It is a declaration that your inner world is the true battlefield. By choosing stillness, You reclaim your mind. You seize the controls back from the algorithms that seek to own you. You build a fortress inside yourself, a place of quiet power from which you can move through the chaos of life with intent, like a sword through smoke. This is where the journey to purpose begins, not by seeking a map out there, but by learning to read the compass that is in here. Chapter 2: The Lost Art of Stillness, a journey through time and mind. To grasp the power of stillness, you must understand it is not a gentle idea. It is a technology of the spirit, tested in fire, with a lineage stretching through history and grounded in the very wiring of our minds. This is not philosophy. It is a practical weapon, refined for over 2.5 millennia. Let us walk the path of those who came before. Part A: The Eastern Roots, the Wisdom of Silence. Our journey begins in the East, where stillness was forged into an art. More than 2,500 years ago, a prince, Siddhartha Gautama, was given a kingdom. He had every pleasure, every comfort, yet he saw that these walls of luxury were a prison, unable to keep out the truths of suffering, age, and death. Driven to find a way out of this universal cage of dissatisfaction, or dukkha, he renounced his kingdom of things to find the kingdom within. He did not find the answer in scrolls or debates. He first tried to break the body with pain and starvation. But this only brought him closer to death, not truth. He realized the path was a middle way between indulgence and denial, and the key to this path was found in absolute stillness. He sat beneath a Bodhi tree, a sacred fig, and made a warrior's vow. He would not move until he had conquered the root of suffering. For 49 days he sat. Imagine the war inside his mind, a storm of doubt, fear, desire, and memory. The world did not go quiet for him, but instead of fighting the storm, he learned to watch it. He observed each thought, each feeling arise and pass away like clouds across the sky, without being swept away. In that profound, unwavering stillness, the storm broke. In the silence that followed, insight dawned. He saw the nature of reality, the cause of all suffering, clinging, attachment, and the path to liberation. He became the Buddha, the awakened one. His entire philosophy, a guide for billions, was born from a single sustained act of war, fought in stillness. This was not an isolated event. In the yogic traditions, stillness is the crucible where the self is burned away to reveal the divine. The great yogi Paramhansa Yogananda called stillness the altar of spirit. He taught that the world is a broadcast of static. Only by deliberately tuning into the frequency of silence can we hear the broadcast of the soul. Part B: The Western Lineage, the Strength of Introspection. This wisdom was not confined to the East. It was forged independently in the West, not in quiet forests, but in the heart of the brutal and chaotic Roman Empire. It was called Stoicism. The Stoics were not hermits. They were soldiers, emperors, men of action. They needed a philosophy that was a weapon, one that could grant them clarity and courage in the face of public pressure and private horror. Their laboratory was the world. Their primary tool was stillness. Consider Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome from 161 to 180 AD. He ruled from the battlefield, facing war, plague, and betrayal. He had every reason to be a man broken by the storm, yet he is remembered as the philosopher king. How? Each morning, before the chaos of the day began, he retreated into stillness. He wrote in his private journal, the writings we now call the meditations. This was not a diary. It was a discipline. It was his time to disconnect from the demands of an empire and connect with his own soul. He wrote to himself, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The ruler of the known world found his ultimate fortress not in a palace, but within his own mind. He used this quiet to sharpen his principles, to separate what he could control from what he could not, to prepare his mind for the foolishness and corruption of others, to remind himself of his duty. This daily habit of introspective stillness was the forge of his resilience. This tradition is woven through Western history. Think of Christ, who, before his ministry, spent 40 days in the desert. This was not a retreat. It was a radical act of stripping away all distraction to confront his own spirit and clarify his purpose. The desert was a crucible of stillness, and he emerged with the strength to change the world. From the silent brotherhoods of ancient Greece to the solitude of Thoreau at Walden Pond, the lesson is the same. True insight does not come from more information. It comes from deeper reflection. Part C. The neuroscience of stillness. Mapping the battlefield. For ages, this was a truth known only through practice. But today, modern science allows us to map the inner battlefield. And what it reveals is stunning. Neuroscientists studying the minds of monks in deep meditation have witnessed something extraordinary. During these states of profound stillness, the part of the brain that builds the walls of the self, the part that screams, "I," and separates you from the world, begins to go quiet. This corresponds to the ancient feeling of becoming one with everything, of the ego dissolving into a vast and powerful presence. At the same time, the architects of worry and fear in the prefrontal cortex begin to stand down. The default mode network, the mind's restless inner monologue, falls silent. The parts of your brain that generate noise, anxiety, and the illusion of separation power down. And what powers up? The circuits of awareness, of focus, of will. When you choose stillness over distraction, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are weakening the pathways of reactivity and stress and strengthening the pathways of conscious command. You are teaching the animal part of your brain, the amygdala, that it does not rule you. When Marcus Aurelius retreated into his soul, or the Buddha sat beneath the tree, they were not just thinking. They were performing a neurological act. They were actively altering their brain states to access deeper levels of consciousness, insight, and power. This ancient habit is not magic. It is mental training grounded in biology. It is a superpower that lies dormant within you, waiting for you to awaken it. Now, it is time to begin your training. Chapter 3. The How-To. A 3-step process to forge the will. Knowing the history is not enough. Inspiration without action is a ghost. The power lies in applying this discipline to our modern lives, lives designed for noise. How do we begin without abandoning our posts in the world? You start small. You forge the habit with a simple, repeatable framework. This is not about finding perfect peace overnight. It is about building a new discipline, one moment of silence at a time. This is the warrior's training. Step 1. The practice of deliberate disconnection, drawing the line. The first step is the simplest and the most difficult. You must create a container for stillness. You cannot find silence while drowning in noise. You must deliberately and intentionally disconnect from the stream of eternal input. This is more than silencing your phone. This is scheduling an appointment with the commander of your soul. The actionable discipline. The 15-minute watch. Your task. Once a day, find 15 minutes. Stand watch. alone, in silence. Find your post, a corner of a room, your car before you enter your home, any place where you can be alone. The location is secondary to the intention. Give it the time. A timer for 15 minutes. This frees your mind from the worry of time. You have given yourself one duty: to remain until the watch is over. 0 inputs. This is the unbreakable rule. No phone, no computer, no music, no books, nothing. Just you and your own mind. When you first attempt this, your mind will scream. It will flood you with lists, worries, fears, memories, a tidal wave of chaos. You will feel a desperate urge to reach for a distraction, to do anything to fill the silence. This is withdrawal. This is the addiction to noise, fighting back. Do not fight it. Do not judge it. Observe it. Your only job during these 15 minutes is to sit, to stand your post. Let the storm rage. The discomfort is the sign that the work is beginning. You are finally facing the noise you have used the world to escape. You are witnessing the chaos within. This is the first essential step to taming it. If 15 minutes feels like an eternity, start with 5. The duration is less important than the consistency. You are carving out an island of silence in the ocean of your day. This island will become your fortress. Step 2. The art of observation without judgment. The watcher on the wall. Once you have created the container, the next step is to learn. Learn what to do within it. The answer is to do nothing. The goal is not to stop your thoughts, an impossible task. The goal is to change your relationship to them. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. The actionable discipline, the inner inventory. As you sit on your 15-minute watch and the thoughts and feelings rise, you will practice a simple labeling technique. Instead of being swept away by a thought, you will step back and name it. When a worry about the future appears, you will say to yourself silently, worrying. When you find yourself replaying a past failure, you will name it, remembering. When a wave of anxiety rises, name it, fear. When the urge to get up and do something takes hold, name it, restlessness. The tone is not of a critic. It is the tone of a watchman on the wall, identifying figures in the mist. Ah, there is fear. I see it. This practice creates a space between the observer, you, and the observed, your thoughts. It breaks the chain of identification. You stop being angry and start observing the feeling of anger. You realize thoughts are just weather, clouds passing through the vast sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the clouds. As you practice this inner inventory, you will begin to see patterns. The same ghosts will appear again and again. What fears, what passions, what injustices. These are the first whispers of your purpose. This is the raw data from your soul. The things that anger you point to the battle you must fight. The curiosities point to the territory you must explore. Your purpose is not a mystery that will appear in a flash of light. It is hidden in the recurring patterns of your own mind. Patterns you can only see when you are still enough to look. Step 3. The search for service. Finding your war, creating stillness, and observing your mind will bring you clarity and strength. But to unlock purpose, there is one final step. You must connect your inner world to the outer world. A law runs through every wisdom tradition. True purpose is found not in what you can get, but in what you can give. Once you have silenced the outer noise and observed your own spirit, The ultimate question is not, what makes me happy, but how can my unique strengths serve as a weapon against suffering? This turns self-discovery into a mission. The actionable discipline, the 3 questions of purpose. After your stillness practice, when your mind is clear, take out a journal and answer these 3 questions. Write without judging. 1. What problem in the world, big or small, fills you with a righteous fire? Your greatest frustration is a signpost to your greatest contribution. The ugliness of the modern world, the loneliness of the forgotten, the chains of ignorance. Pay attention to what makes you think, someone must do something. Perhaps that someone is you. 2. What is the weapon you were born to wield? What activity makes you lose all sense of time? This points to your innate power. Is it bringing order to chaos? Teaching a skill, building things with your hands, wielding words or code, listening to the broken. This is your how, the unique blade you bring to the fight. 3. If you could fight for one person or one group of people, who would it be? Purpose becomes real when it is personal. Saving the world is a ghost. Who do you feel a warrior's instinct to protect? Struggling artists, lost young men, small business owners fighting to survive. Picture a single person. What is their battle? How could you stand with them? Now, look at your answers. The intersection where your righteous fire meets your unique weapon in service to your people. That is where your purpose lives. It may not be your job, not at first. Your purpose could be to mentor one person, to create art that gives others strength, to defend a cause you believe in. The scale does not matter. What matters is the alignment of your inner truth with an outer war. That is the formula for a life of meaning. By practicing these 3 steps, disconnect, observe, serve, you engage in the complete, ancient habit. You create the space, listen to the wisdom within it, and translate that wisdom into meaningful war. This is the path. I want you to answer this. As you consider this 3-step discipline, which step presents the greatest battle for you right now? Is it step 1, the simple act of drawing the line and facing the silence? Is it step 2, standing as the watcher on the wall, observing your thoughts without being swept away? Or is it step 3, finding the war that you are meant to fight? State it in the comments. Giving it a name is the first step to conquering it. Your struggle may be the very thing that gives another the strength to face their own. Chapter 4. The Transformation, a Life with Purpose. What happens when you commit to this discipline? The change is not a sudden explosion. It is a quiet forging, a gradual shift from a life of frantic reaction to a life of deliberate, focused action. Imagine waking, and instead of being assaulted by the anxiety of the coming day, you feel a quiet strength. You have already spent 15 minutes on watch. You have connected with your inner commander. You know your true north for the day. The to-do list is still there, but it is no longer your master. You are its master. You begin to make decisions not from fear, but from deep, internal alignment. The small skirmishes of life, the traffic, the conflict, the spilled coffee, lose their power to wound you. Because you have practiced observation, you see the anger or frustration arise, and you choose not to let it conquer your inner state. You create that sacred space between the world's drama and your response. In that space, you choose your own peace. This is not about becoming passionless. It is about becoming the master of your passions. It is the difference between being a small boat thrown about by the waves and being the captain of the ship, who feels the power of the storm but holds the course, steering with purpose. Your purpose becomes your anchor. Relationships transform because you are more present, less lost in the noise of your own mind. You can offer others the rare gift of your full attention. You become a source of strength for others because you have forged it within yourself. And that question, is this all there is? It dies. It is replaced by a quiet confidence, a sense of rightness. You begin to experience moments of flow, where you are so absorbed in your mission that time itself dissolves. These are the moments a life of purpose is built on. You stop seeking validation from the world because you have built the source of it within. Your worth is no longer tied to your title, your followers, or your wealth. Your worth comes from the profound act of living in alignment with your truth, in service to a war larger than yourself. Life does not get easier. The storms will still come, but you will meet them with a new strength. You will have an inner fortress to retreat to, a well of stillness to draw from. You will navigate the chaos not with frantic energy, but with a quiet, unbreakable power. This is the promise of stillness, not a life without battles, but a life of meaningful war, where you are the conscious author of your own legend. We have walked a long path today. We have stood with philosophers in the heart of Rome, sat with the Buddha under the Bodhi tree, and mapped the battlefield of the human brain. Through it all, the message is unwavering. The answers you seek are not in the noise out there. They are in here, in the silent fortress of your own being. The feeling of being lost without purpose is not a personal failure. It is a symptom of a world that has declared war on stillness. We have been sold the lie that fulfillment comes from adding more. The ancient truth is that fulfillment comes from subtracting the noise, from listening to the silence, and from aligning our actions with the wisdom that emerges from it. Let us recap the path forward. It is a simple 3-step discipline. 1. Disconnect. Carve out a sacred space of silence. 15 minutes. Stand watch. No inputs. 2. Observe. Change your relationship to your mind. Watch the thoughts without judgment. See the patterns. 3. Serve. Connect your inner fire to an outer war. Ask not what you can get, but what you can give. This is not a quick fix. It is the practice of a lifetime. It is a commitment to your soul. It is the most important war you will ever fight. You do not need to burn your life down tomorrow. Just start with 15 minutes. Start with 1 breath. The journey to your purpose is not a sprint. It is a slow, steady, and profound unfolding. It begins the moment you decide to turn down the volume of the world and listen to the commander within. You have a purpose. There is a war. Only you can fight. The world is waiting. You can only discover your orders in the stillness. If this has sparked a fire in you, if it has spoken to that part of you that knows there is more, then subscribe for more journeys into the timeless disciplines for a modern world. And let us begin this practice together now. As your first act, share in the comments one thing you are truly passionate about, a fire, a frustration, or a deep curiosity. Let this space be a testament to the first whispers of 1,000 different purposes. Thank you for walking the path. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get mental wisdom